The court is now back in session. And before we hand the floor to the defense team, I'd like to inquire judges of the bench if you have any questions you wish to pose to this civil party. And Judge Lavange, you have the floor.
Oui, merci.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Mr. Civil Party. I would like to start by asking the following question to you. This morning, in answer to a question put to you by the co-prosecutor, you said that you are a member of the Kampuchea Krom population. And this morning, you also gave information regarding your place of birth. And it appears that you also confirmed that you were born in Cambodia. However, when you were heard, and I'm referring to document E3109.1.22, when you were asked to give your date of birth, you indicated that you were born in Rompes village, Le Prix commune, Svai Tong district, Moi Chut province, and it is noted that today it is Ong Kyong province, Kampuchea Krom. Were you born in Kampuchea Krom, or were you born in Cambodia?
I was born in Cambodia or Cambodia, but then I fled to live in Vietnam.
Alors, est-ce que...
Now, regarding the place I have just referred to, is that the place where you sought refuge in Vietnam? And if so, where precisely did you seek refuge in Vietnam after you left Cambodia?
I went from Lumpia Svai village, Le Tri commune, Svai Trong district.
Alors, est-ce que vous considérez...
Now, do you consider Kampuchea Krom because you sought refuge there, or you consider Kampuchea Krom because your family is a native of Kampuchea Krom? Why precisely do you consider Kampuchea Krom?
I have never said I am Kampuchea Krom. In fact, I always maintain that I am Kampuchea Le or Cambodian. But I subsequently fled to Vietnam.
Quand vous êtes revenu,
when you returned to Cambodia in 1976, I understand from your testimony this morning that it was considered, or rather, the Khmer Rouge considered you as a Kampuchea Krom person. How about you yourself? Do you yourself consider yourself as a Kampuchea Krom?
Personally, I don't consider myself as Kampuchea Krom, but during the Khmer Rouge regime, when they returned me to Cambodia, I was considered as one of the Campuchia Crown people.
Alors, est-ce que vous avez...
In that case, have you heard the expression, a Khmer body with a Vietnamese head, Cambodian body, Khmer body with a Vietnamese head? Have you heard such an expression?
During the Khmer Rouge regime, it was the Khmer Rouge people, namely the unit chief or their cadres or the group chief who called me that. And we were considered belonged to that group.
Donc, quand vous dites...
So when you say we, you are referring to all the people considered as Kampuchea Krom. Were they all considered as having a Khmer body and a Vietnamese head? Is that what I should understand from your testimony?
That is absolutely true.
Alors après...
Subsequently, were there other ways of designating people born in Kampuchea Krom? Were they considered as parasites, for example? That is an expression that was used. Were they considered as Yun spies? How were they described?
But
at the beginning, we were not called Yun. Initially, we were called depositees or preparatory people, but a bit after, we were then called the Yun puppets. And also they called us that we belong to a group called the Khmer body with a Vietnamese mind.
Et est-ce qu'on a accusé...
And were people considered as Khmer Krom spies sponsored by the Yun?
no,
We were also called the CIA spies or agents or Vietnamese spies. They called us whatever they pleased.
Est-ce que vous avez le souvenir que, à votre...
Do you recall whether upon your arrival in Cambodia you were asked to write your biographies? Do you recall whether everyone who hailed from Vietnam upon their arrival in Cambodia were asked to write their biographies?
When I arrived, I was not asked to write anything. I was not asked to write my address in Vietnam because they already knew that we were living in Vietnam and that we came from Vietnam.
Est-ce que vous vous souvenez si...
Do you remember whether at any time during the period of democratic Kampuchea, Kampuchea Krom people were asked to go back to their home?
I recall that while I was living in Campuchia Crown, the June people were sent in exchange for Cambodian, Cambodian people, and that happened around 1976.
Ça, j'ai bien compris cela, monsieur.
I have properly understood that, sir, but my question to you is somewhat different regarding Cambodian people who came from Kampuchea Krom and who settled in the region where you resided. Was it proposed to them at any point in time that they should go back to Kampuchea Krom? Did the Khmer Rouge propose that certain persons should return to Kampuchea Krom?
At that time, the group chief or the unit chief asked us whether any of us wanted to return to our native village, but elder people didn't want to go, and those who went first warned us that people that wanted to return to their villages would be killed, and for that reason we were afraid not to go back.
Donc la proposition.
So the proposal that you return to Kampuchea Krom was made, but no one accepted it because you knew that it was a trap. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, that's what they meant. And if we answered to them that we would like to return to our native villages, it means that we will be dead.
Bien, je vous remercie beaucoup, monsieur.
Thank you very much, sir. I have no further questions for you.
President, thank you, Judge Laverne. The Chamber would like now to cede the floor to Anunchi's defense. Counsel for Anunchi, good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Sun Witsal. I am a defense counsel for Anunchi, and good afternoon, Mr. Ripo. I have some questions for you in relation to your identity, as it's just confirmed through the judge. When you fled Cambodia to go and live in Vietnam, did you change your nationality, for instance, from Khmer to Vietnam, Khmer to Vietnamese? Answer. At that time, I did not change it because I was put in a camp, a refugee camp. Question. For those people who were at the refugee camp, were you considered Khmer, or were you considered Kampuchea Krom with a Vietnamese nationality? Answer. During the lunar regime, we fled from Cambodia, and we were not considered Vietnamese or Yuen. We were called or treated as refugees, so we still hate our Khmer nationality. And we did not have our identity or nationality change. Question. At the location where you lived, were there Khmer Kampuchea Krom with the Vietnamese nationality living there? Answer. Yes, there was a village where Khmer Kampuchea Krom with Vietnamese nationality lived in. Question. When you were sent by the Vietnamese government, did they also send along the Khmer Cambodia Crown with Vietnamese nationality? Answer. They only sent the Khmer people who lived in the refugee camp back to Cambodia. Question. Does it mean that you were returned as a Khmer refugee to return to your native village or to your homeland? Am I correct? President Mr. Ripe, please respond to the last question as you spoke before the microphone activated. Answer. Yes, that is true. Question. My next question is related to marriage. After you returned, you stated before this court that you worked in a youth unit. During the time that you worked in the youth unit before 1979, how many of your team members got married? Answer. In my youth unit, when I was called to make a resolution, that was the first event that happened in my unit. Counsel interrupts. In the interest of time, I'd like you to clarify to the court, during the several years that you were in that unit, how many youths or how many of your peer members got married? Answer. I'd like to state that it happened in other units within the same village, because there were different units, for example, special units. It means those people who were older than me, and they got married, and I did not involved when they got married. Question. During the time that you stayed there, did you personally witness any couples being married? Answer. I saw two couples who got married and they are still living in my commune. They were asked by the Khmer rules to make a resolution, and their marriage remains until today. Question. So, after you left Vietnam to come and live in your unit, in your village, you only saw the marriage of two couples. Am I correct? Answer. I refer to the two couples whose marriage relationship remains until today, and for other people who were instructed to make a resolution, I didn't attend that ceremony. I only heard that there was such a ceremony, but after the Khmer rules regime fell, some of them separated. Counsel. Allow me to clarify, maybe you misunderstand my question. During the time that you were in that unit, how many couples that you personally witnessed getting married? President, Civil Party, please wait for the microphone's activation. Civil Party. During the wedding ceremony, I did not attend it, but there was an announcement by the commune chief that there would be a ceremony of 10 or 20 couples on a specific day, but I didn't attend such a ceremony. Question. So your knowledge of couples being married was second-hand information from someone else, and that you did not witness it. Am I correct? Answer. If it happened in other units, of course I was not allowed to attend, but during the unit meetings, our unit chief told us that there were wedding ceremonies for this particular unit or that particular unit. That's how I learned the information, that is through our criticism and self-criticism meetings. And we were also instructed to monitor the activities of the newly wedded couples, whether they got along well or they actually consummate their marriage. And then we can inform the units nearby. Council interrupts. I think you still don't respond to my question directly. Maybe you misunderstand it. What I'd like to clarify from you is that you did not witness the wedding ceremony yourself, but you heard it from somebody else. Am I correct in saying that? Answer. That is correct. I did not witness it personally. I only heard it through the meetings. Question. I'd like to remind you, on the 22nd of June 2010, when you applied as a civil party before the Victims Support Section, that is document D22/2162, and EN in Khmer is 00. Zero 005791113, and in English 00585343. And I'd like to make a quote from your application. In the Samrang Commune Cooperative, I personally witnessed a forced marriage of 30 couples. Did you make that statement, Mr. Civil Party? Answer. No, I did not say that. What I said was that there was a ceremony where people were asked to make a resolution and the number of the couples involved in that ceremony, and I didn't know that the note taker put it that way in the application form. Council. So your statement on that particular day is not correct. Is it true? Answer, yes, that is true. Because at that time I only said that in the Ong Roli village, Samrang commune, there was a wedding ceremony of 34 couples. Thank you, Mr. Council. Now I move on to another topic in relation to working in the cooperative. This morning you stated before this court that your group and the 17 April people group worked harder than the best people. Can you tell the court what kind of work that the best people engage in, and how did you compare that they work less than you did? Answer. I said that the 17 April people and my group from Vietnam worked harder because the Khmer rules, namely the unit chief or the group chief, they did not work. They only inspected us or monitored us while we were working, and they were only there in order to find fault or mistakes. Question. So your conclusion was based on a handful of your group chief or unit chief and not the entire people living in the commune. Am I correct? President, Council, the civil party didn't say that he made a conclusion or a presumption of that fact. So please rephrase your question, Council. Thank you, Mr. President. I'll move on to another question. Let me rephrase it. Did you witness other villagers in your commune working as hard as you did? Answer. During the Khmer Rouge regime, no one was allowed to be free and not working, and all the 17 April people and the people from Vietnam worked very hard, and only the best people, that is our unit chief or group chief, did not work because they only monitored our work. Whether they were older people or whether they were young children, they did not work, and they only monitored how hard we work. And I believe everybody here who are old enough would have gone through such an experience. During the time the Khmer Rouge ruled the country, that is the 3 years, 8 months and 20 days period, it would I can talk about that for as many years as I can. President interrupts. Mr. Civil Party, you are reminded to respond within the limit of the question put to you and not to make any unnecessary comments. Otherwise, you just invite troubles upon yourself. Please listen to the question carefully, and if you don't understand, you ask the question to be rephrased. And the Council, please move on. Defense Counsel, thank you. And now I'd like to move on to another topic. This morning, you stated before this court that you saw your friend Chan being killed. Do you know the full name of that person, Chan? Answer. As for the family name, I did not know. I only know his first name, and that is Chan. Question. Was Chan a member of your unit, or did he live elsewhere, probably in a village nearby? Answer. Before he disappeared, Chan was within the same unit that I belonged, but after he disappeared, nobody knew what happens to him, or maybe he went somewhere else. because at that time some unit members got sick or some went to relieve themselves in the booth, for example. And we didn't know that any of the members were being sent out, tortured and killed, as in the case of Chan. Question: before you saw him, how long did you not see him in your unit, or how many days? Answer: as to how long he disappeared, I did not know, because typically at 3 or 4 o'clock early in the morning, a bell was rang, and then we would just get us carrying basket and a hoe and just head straight to the work site. And probably only the unit chief who would know or count the number of the unit members. Question: can you recall what season was it when you saw him, or which month?
Answer: I did not remember the exact day, month, or season. In Khmer Rouge period, we did not know whether it was a Wednesday, it was a Monday or Tuesday. Every day we had to work. No one knew the days exactly. Question: was it in dry season or rainy season? Perhaps you could recall it, because during a rainy season there would be rain, and during dry season it would be hot. President, please hold on. Wait until the microphone activated. Answer: at that time, what I knew was that it was the time to transplant rice seedling. Perhaps it was in a rainy season, the time that we had to work in the field. Question: at that time, where did you see that incident? Answer: I could not know how far was it from the place where I worked. I was quite close to the place where the cow was eating grass, and I was chasing cows at that time. And that time I could hear his voice shouting that and asking me to go and tell his mother that he would be dead. And I was really afraid, and I was in a hurry, because I was afraid of being killed if I was spotted by anyone, and I could not dare to go anywhere else. First, I did not know it was a Krang Tachan area, and I did not know it was militiaman's headquarters. There were several villages surrounding and close by that security center. President, Mr. Reaper, please respond to the question within the limits of your knowledge. There will be many other questions put to you by party counsel. I would like to continue my questioning. At the time when you saw that incident, did it happen in the open field or in the forest? At that time, the incident happened near the forest. President, please activate your microphone. Counsel, at that place, could you recognize the place, or whether or not there was a fence or there was any buildings? Answer: I did not have time to observe clearly that place because I was fearful. Question: the victim you have just said, he was Jan. Did the incident happen in the pits, or did it happen on the ground? Answer: when I saw the incident, it happened in a pit, and the pit was quite deep, but I did not know how deep it was. Question: the person, when you saw that incident, did you see the incident after you heard the sound, or you were there and you heard the sound first and you ran to that place? Answer: when I was there, I could hear the shouting from him. Question: before you heard the shouting, how far were you from the pit? Answer: upon my arrival at that place, the cows was eating grass near the embankment, and I pulled the rope. I chased the cows, and it was quite close from my estimates. Question: was the victim laying down or was he standing, if you saw it? Answer: actually, he was the victim, so he was not sitting. Counsel, please listen to my questions carefully, because I have a very limited time, so please answer to my question. Answer: he was lying down. Counsel: thank you, Mr. President. That concludes my questioning. President, what about International Council from Mr. Nguyen Chia? And you may proceed now, the International Council for Kieu Samphan.
Mr. President, my colleague from the Nguyen Chia team tells me there's no questions, so I will pick up from there if you allow me to do so.
Bonjour, Monsieur de la Partie Civile.
Good afternoon, Civil Party. I am Anta Guissé. I'm a co-international counsel of Mr. Kieu Samphan. I have very brief questions to put to you. With the leave of the President, I would like to provide you with your civil party statement. This is document D22-21, correction, D22/2162.
President, your request is granted.
Merci. Et pendant que le document vous est remis à l'attention.
So, as the document has been given to you, I would like to make a comment first on the page English ERN 01047833.
Khmer 00546439. And unfortunately, that page has not been translated into French. But since we're only speaking here about a proper noun, I don't think there should be any problems. Do you have the document with you, civil party?
Answer: I do not have the document with me.
Vous avez le document sous les yeux maintenant?
Do you now have the document before you, civil party?
Vous avez un...
There is a name that is underlined in yellow. This is Chowni. The name is Chowni. In English, it's indicated witness name. Can you tell me who this person is and why his name is on your statement?
Answer: the people who went to interview me, I did not know where they are from. They asked me about Khmer Rouge, the experience I went through in Khmer Rouge period. I only know this person's name, Chao Ni, and I do not know where his whereabouts.
So you know this person? So must I understand that this is a name that you gave to the people who came to question you that day? Is that what I must understand?
President, please hold on. Mr. Civil Party, please wait for microphone activated. Answer: at that time, Chao Ni went to interview me, and I do not know his whereabouts. Where is he now?
Quand vous dites que...
When you say that Chao Ni came to interview you, did this person come to speak with you the day when you spoke to the people who helped you fill out this form? Or was this at another occasion?
Answer: when they were there, I could see Chao Ni was also there, and I did not know who other else was there. And the group of the members of the group consists of 3 or 4 people.
And getting back to my previous question, who is Chao Ni and how did you know Chao Ni?
Answer: as for Chao Ni, I know him because he went to interview me as well about the Khmer Rouge period, and I know him at that time.
So I understand from what you just told me that you did not know him during the Democratic Kampuchea period. Is that the case?
President, you may repeat your answer because the microphone was not activated when you gave your answer previously. Answer: I have just known this person.
Quand vous dites que
When you say that you just got to know this person, this does not make it clear for me if you got to know him when he came with the people who came to question you.
Answer: Chao Ni came together with the group who went to interview me. He was with the group.
So my question is, why is his name written on this witness part, and why are the names of the other people not indicated? Can you please explain?
Answer: I do not know either, because their work. When he was there, I mean Chao Ni, after the group got the interview and noted down the interview, and I do not know why there was no other names.
et
And do you know when you spoke with Chao Ni, did Chao Ni tell you where he lives and why he was among those who questioned you?
Answer: at that time, I saw him walking with the group from one organization, and I saw him was walking with the group, and I did not know where he was from.
And did this gentleman, Chao Ni, tell you that he had already filed a civil party application before this chamber for this trial? Did he speak to you about the fact that he was going to testify before this chamber or not?
Answer: I do not know. He never told me about his background and his whereabouts. He never told me about all of this.
Can you confirm to me that you live in Kirivong district?
Answer: that is true.
I would like to draw the party's attention, as well as the chambers, to document 1 second, please.
sur le document
To document E 319.1.1 ERN. Well, let's say page 2 of the document. I will also indicate that Mr. Chao Ni testified in the first trial 002/01 under pseudonym TCCP 187, but I have no further questions, Mr. President.
Hi.
President, I would like to know there are no more questions from from Council for Mr. Kisupon. So that concludes your questioning. So we observe that today the hearing concludes earlier than the everyday session, and the Mr. Civil Party, do you have any statement to be made concerning your sufferings, and do you have any question to be put to the accused through the chamber? You may now ask your question if you have. Answer. I do not have any questions. I do not have any question, but I have just a few questions. At that time, Khieu Samphan did not admit that he was a leader, and I want to know from him where he was at that time, and he did not know about the killing of Khmer people. Could he tell me, and could he clarify about this matter? President, hearing on 11th hearing on the 8th in 2015, the accused resolved to the right to remain silent. Unless the chamber receive any confirmation from the accused, then the chambers can allow the accused to answer, and the counsel for the accused is required to inform the chamber whether or not the accused has changed his mind and decided to answer to the question. Until now, the chamber does not receive any confirmation from the counsel for the accused. I would like to know whether or not the civil party have any statement to be made concerning your sufferings. As for the suffering in the genocidal period, I do not want anything for myself. However, nowadays I have remorse. I feel very pity for my parents, my siblings, my relatives. When they undergone the sufferings and also the killing by the Khmer Rouge period, and my family members went through that misery. So I implore and ask the United Nations and the Khmer Rouge Tribunal to help prevent the recurrence of the atrocity. And I appeal to the chamber to adjudicate and try the leaders of Khmer Rouge period according to their acts committed against Cambodian all across the country. Thank you very much. President. Thank you, Mr. Ripo. The hearing today conclude earlier than at the normal days, and the chamber does not have any reserved witness to be heard. The hearings now come to an end, and it will resume on Monday, 16th of February 2015 at 9 a.m. Next week, the chamber will hear TCW 954. And I invite all parties to be in the hearing on Monday. Thank you, Mr. Ripo, for your time before the chamber to give testimony today. Your testimony will contribute to ascertain the truth. Your testimony comes to an end, and you are now excused. You can return to your residence. Court officer, with the vessels, please send the civil party to his residence or to any preferred destination. And security personnel, you are instructed to bring Mr. Kieu Sompon and Mr. Nguyen Chia back to the detention facility and have them returned on Monday before 9 a.m. The court is now adjourned.
សូមអញ្ជើញក្រោយ